Hey, what's up everybody? We will be going over our magazine layout breakdown assignment. In this assignment, you'll be asked to pull together a magazine spread that you will then deconstruct to learn about different spacing, layouts, margins, etc. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you with a sample document. I'm going to just click here on New File. I'm going to create 3 pages and make sure that they are set to portrait. You may also want to switch over to inches if you see fit. You can use the standard letter size depending on your magazine layout. I'm going to hit create, and I don't really need the first page per se. I'm going to go down and create 2 more pages, which will give me my spread. This is primarily where I'm going to work. We're going to eventually disregard that first page at the top. Now that I have this, let's go ahead and lay out my template. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Place. In File Place, I'm going to grab the image that I found of my layout. For this assignment, you will be using your own found magazine layout. Go ahead and pick the one that you like. I'm going to just drag and drop that. All right, now that I have this image set, a couple things I want to do. I want to go to my window, and I'm going to go to my Layers panel. With the Layers panel selected, I'm going to go ahead and lock down that layer. I'm going to then click on New Layer so I can start to create the different types of imagery. For this, I'm going to use my shape tool for the most part. We want to identify certain elements and think about the different spacing in this particular document. I'm going to use my shape tool, which is M on your keyboard, and start drawing boxes over particular shapes. If you're not seeing a full box, you can switch your fill and stroke. V on your keyboard, it works a lot like Adobe Illustrator, can push and pull to as you see fit. Go ahead and start drawing out your individual boxes. So as I go through here, I'm going to just use my tool, as you can see, and start building out the different boxes and panels. I'm going to draw the little, for instance, the quote box up here, and I'm going to then draw a block over the other image. Now, if the images are very overlapping to one another, what I would suggest is right-clicking and finding the Arrange category and bringing it to front, and then going ahead and choosing a color of your choice. We can choose a color by just going to Fill. We can change this to really whatever color we wish. In this case, I may use a blue just to kind of get it to pop and have a little more variety. You'll notice that I'm going to just highlight over my individual text boxes. I'm thinking about the framing on all of these. For little frames down here at the bottom, it's really good because I can use my Alt key after I hit the V key, and I can kind of match these. These can all, they should roughly be the same. This will give you a good idea if the person using their doing the type layout really was doing their job. We're going to get this other little block quote to work here. And for quotes that have overhanging layers, you don't have to worry too much. We're just kind of looking at spacing in general here. We want to cover everything to see what we got. All right, I'm going to hold Alt and drag that over. That looks great. Then maybe a couple for the text as well. You're welcome to color code these as well if you want to make your text different colors. But the idea here is you're noticing what the typographer and the layout artist did to make sure that everything had its own place and space. That is a really important element when you're becoming a layout artist, because everything has its own purpose, and all the distances between the objects have their own purposes as well. Switch that back over. I could use my X key, by the way, and that will help me kind of switch back and forth, but there you go. We'll add a couple of these for the very top, maybe the running headline at the top. Our good friend, the Alt key, comes in handy to speed up layout. This is a good way of just figuring out what is on a page and what you could adapt when you're doing your next layout. You'll notice there are a lot of commonly sized elements no matter what you build. And these elements can be vital parts of your image. There we go. I'm using the smart guides. If you don't see those smart guides, go to View, and you can go to Guides and Grids and just make sure the Smart Guides are selected. That's a really good way to do it. So once you get to this stage, you're good to start thinking about the type that is going to be here. What are these elements? I'm going to go to my text tool and I'm going to type the word image. I'm going to highlight that word image and make sure that the fill is set to paper color. I'm going to just make sure that this size of this image is large and ready to go. One thing you'll notice is if you click within that image box, it will put it in the image. But if you click on your type tool and type and drag out a box like this, it will create its own text. If I put headline, for instance, now that is in that text box, and I could go through and double click on that text and scale that to my wish. It's a little more independent from the box itself. You could go ahead and arrange it and put it into the center there. We know this is a subheading or a tagline at the bottom. Just like before, once you draw out these boxes, reuse them. So we'll do subheading. If you're running out of space, just make your box a little bigger. Pull that out. Perfect. I want you to go ahead and do this through all of your images and all of your text. This is going to get you to be more familiar with the individual elements that play a role in your layout artistry. Go through, add all the different tags, learn to kind of navigate the different character palettes and text tools, as well as the shape tools, because these are going to be vital moments. When you're done doing this, you're going to kind of put this together in a unique way. So to do that, and let's say you filled all these in, I'm going to kind of stop right here because you can probably get the idea of what you're meant to do. Let's go ahead and export this element. Once you have this ready to go, we're going to just do a very quick export here. We're going to go over to export, and we're going to call this block. I'm going to go ahead and just save it somewhere I can find it. We'll hit save. Here, I want to make sure I choose spreads. This is going to kind of keep this image together. When I hit export, and once I have that, that's going to export two files. It's going to export the blank file that was this part, which we don't really need. We can hop over to a program like Photoshop to put it all together. We will go ahead and open up Photoshop. Give that a second. There it is. Once in Photoshop, we can go ahead and open our files to work with. So what I like to do here is I like to grab both elements, holding shift. I open up one, and there's a really easy way to do this. I crop tool because we're basically doubling, and we can double the size of our canvas. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull this out to kind of match the center there. Great. Hit return. Now we have a bigger canvas. We can go to this page and hit Control A to copy, Control C, and then Control V. For our assignment, we can just kind of pull it up to the edge, pull it in, hit enter. Now we have our side-by-side, and that's what we're looking for, just to see how the artists laid out and spaced out everything. From this point, we can export as a quick PNG. We could go ahead and name that correctly, so I'll do Dombrowski, Matt, we'll call it layout, and we'll hit OK. Now, if this file is too big, we can always make it less, but overall at this stage, you should have a really nice spread of a before and after, which I will share with you here, that you can submit to your web course. All right, everybody, I hope that helps you get started on your next follow-along assignment. When you're done labeling everything and making sure the spacing is meticulously copied and blocked out, you're going to upload that to the discussion forum and you're good to go. I'll catch you all in the next video, and have a good one.